street barber named Caleb Rivers risks everything to save Samantha Harrington, the sheltered daughter of a ruthless billionaire. Their worlds collide in a whirlwind of forbidden love and dangerous secrets, igniting a battle against society's expectations and a powerful father's wrath. As they navigate a city filled with whispers and threats, can their love withstand the ultimate test, or will the chasm between their worlds tear them apart forever? Dive into the gripping tale of the barber and the billionaire's daughter. Follow Caleb and Samantha as they navigate love, danger, and the fight for their future against all odds. Will their bond be strong enough to conquer the forces determined to tear them apart? Join their journey and discover the true cost of love. Don't miss out. Subscribe for more captivating stories. In the heart of Brooklyn, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows on the cracked sidewalk where Caleb Rivers set up his humble barber station. The faded umbrella fluttered slightly in the evening breeze, a feeble shield against the relentless urban chaos. Caleb, with his worn hands and gentle demeanor, had spent years honing his craft, cutting hair for the neighborhood's unsung heroes. The single mothers, the struggling artists, the kids dreaming of better days. Yet, as he snipped away, he felt the weight of invisibility pressing down on him. No one seemed to notice the sacrifices he made or the artistry he poured into every cut. To the world, he was just a street barber, a mere echo in the city's symphony of wealth and power. One fateful night, as rain began to patter against the asphalt, the streets transformed into a glistening maze of reflections. Caleb's attention was drawn to a figure hurriedly walking past, a flash of gold hair and designer clothes that shimmered under the streetlights. It was Samantha Harrington, the sheltered daughter of Richard Harrington, a billionaire known as much for his ruthless business tactics as for his lavish lifestyle. As Caleb watched her navigate the unfamiliar terrain of Brooklyn, he felt a strange pull towards her, a sense of longing for a world he could never touch. But before he could contemplate further, chaos erupted. A group of masked figures emerged from the shadows, lunging towards Samantha, intent on snatching her away. Without thinking, Caleb sprang into action, confronting the attackers with a bravery he didn't know he possessed. The struggle was fierce, and the rain poured down, mingling with the sweat and fear that clung to Caleb's skin. When the last assailant fled, Caleb collapsed to the ground, bruised and bleeding but alive. Gasping for breath, he looked up to find Samantha staring down at him, her eyes wide with shock. This moment felt surreal, as if time had frozen around them. For the first time, she saw him, not as a mere street barber, but as a man who had risked everything to save her. As the chaos faded into the night, so too did the barriers between their worlds begin to dissolve. But the echoes of their fateful encounter would ripple through their lives, leading them down an unexpected path of connection, danger, and love. In the days that followed, Brooklyn buzzed with whispers. News of the attempted abduction and the brave barber spread like wildfire, painting Caleb as a hero in the eyes of the neighborhood. But for him, the attention felt suffocating, a stark contrast to the quiet life he had built. Meanwhile, Samantha found herself drawn to the very man society deemed unworthy. She began to steal glances at Caleb as he worked, her heart racing each time their eyes met. The sheltered life she had known felt suffocating, and Caleb represented a world of authenticity she craved. Their paths crossed again, more by fate than design. She returned to his corner of the street, this time with a hesitant smile and an invitation for conversation. Caleb, still grappling with disbelief that someone like her would want to talk to him, felt a rush of emotions he had long buried. They spoke about everything and nothing, sharing stories of their childhoods, their dreams, and the invisible walls that separated their worlds. With each passing encounter, the bond between them deepened, blossoming into something neither of them had anticipated. They met under the cover of darkness, weaving through the alleyways, laughing and sharing secrets. Caleb introduced Samantha to the raw beauty of Brooklyn, the street art, the hidden cafes, and the vibrant culture that thrived beyond the glitz of her father's empire. In turn, Samantha opened up about her life in a gilded cage, revealing the pressure of expectations and her longing for freedom. But their newfound connection was not without its dangers. Caleb knew that the moment Samantha's father learned of their relationship, it would ignite a war. Richard Harrington was not a man to be trifled with. He ruled his empire with an iron fist and viewed Caleb not only as a threat to his daughter but as a stain on his legacy. As their relationship intensified, Caleb felt the weight of this impending storm looming over them. One evening, as they sat by the river, sharing dreams and fears, Caleb's heart raced as he pulled Samantha closer, whispering promises of a future filled with love. But the moment was shattered when a familiar car pulled up nearby, a sleek vehicle with tinted windows. Caleb's instincts screamed danger, and he pulled Samantha back into the shadows just as the car door swung open. The streets of Brooklyn felt different now, charged with tension. Caleb and Samantha's secret meetings grew more fraught, each encounter laced with the fear of discovery. But love, as they both learned, demanded a price. As days turned into weeks, Caleb's heart wrestled with self-doubt. He was just a barber, a man of the streets, while Samantha was the daughter of a billionaire, destined for a life of luxury and power. Every moment spent with her became a bittersweet reminder of the chasm between them. Meanwhile, Samantha grappled with her father's increasing scrutiny. Richard Harrington, suspicious of his daughter's late nights and secretive behavior, began tightening the reins of control, dispatching private investigators to uncover the truth. She felt suffocated by her father's looming presence, afraid of what he would do if he discovered her love for Caleb. As the tension escalated, Caleb received an unexpected visit from Richard Harrington's right-hand man, a menacing figure known for his ruthless tactics. The man offered Caleb a choice: walk away from Samantha and accept a substantial sum of money, or face dire consequences. Caleb felt his heart shatter at the thought of losing Samantha, but the threat was real. He knew that Richard would stop at nothing to protect his daughter from what he perceived as a dangerous liaison. Torn between the love that ignited his soul and the fear that clutched at his heart, Caleb found himself at a crossroads. The streets that once felt like home now echoed with uncertainty, and he realized that love came with a heavy burden, one that could shatter their fragile world at any moment. That night, as he lay awake, staring at the ceiling of his small apartment, Caleb's mind raced. He envisioned a future where he could be worthy of Samantha's love, a life where they could be together without fear. But the harsh reality loomed. Could he truly escape the clutches of a man like Richard Harrington? As dawn broke, he made a decision. He would confront Richard face to face, to demand a chance at love. But little did he know that this confrontation would change everything. The air was thick with tension as Caleb approached the opulent Harrington estate, a fortress of wealth and power that loomed over Brooklyn like a dark cloud. Each step felt like a leap into the unknown, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. He had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times in his mind, but now, standing before the imposing gates, he felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him. As the gates swung open, revealing the manicured lawns and lavish facade, Caleb steeled himself for the confrontation that awaited him. He was here to fight for love, armed only with his unwavering resolve. Inside, the atmosphere crackled with power as Richard Harrington sat behind an enormous mahogany desk, his steely gaze piercing through Caleb like a blade. The billionaire was an imposing figure, a man who had built his empire on the backs of others, and he exuded an aura of authority that made Caleb's stomach churn. "You think you can just waltz in here and demand my daughter's hand?" Richard's voice was low, laced with contempt. "You're nothing but a street barber, a nobody." Caleb felt his heart race, but he refused to back down. "I love Samantha," he replied, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. "I would do anything for her. She deserves more than a life confined by your wealth." The confrontation escalated, Richard unleashing a torrent of threats, painting Caleb as a parasite unworthy of his daughter's affections. But in that moment, something shifted. Caleb realized that this battle was not just about him. It was about Samantha and the life she deserved. As he stood his ground, Richard's expression darkened, revealing the ruthless man beneath the polished exterior. "If you don't leave her alone, I will ruin you," he warned. his voice dripping with malice. The threat hung in the air like a storm cloud, and Caleb felt a chill run down his spine. As he exited the estate, heart pounding and fists clenched, Caleb knew the war was just beginning. Samantha was waiting for him, unaware of the storm brewing in her father's heart. He had to protect her, but at what cost? As he turned the corner, he spotted a shadowy figure lurking nearby, someone who had witnessed the confrontation and who might just hold the key to unraveling everything. The days following Caleb's confrontation with Richard Harrington felt like a ticking time bomb. Whispers of their forbidden love echoed through the city, igniting a wildfire of rumors that engulfed both families. Caleb returned to his corner of Brooklyn, but the vibrancy of the streets he once cherished felt dulled by the weight of impending doom. He could sense the eyes of the neighborhood upon him, their whispers filled with pity and judgment. Yet, amidst the chaos, his heart remained tethered to Samantha, the only light in his darkening world. Meanwhile, Richard's wrath manifested in sinister ways. He unleashed a campaign of intimidation against Caleb, employing thugs to threaten him and his loved ones. Each encounter left Caleb shaken, but it only fueled his resolve to protect Samantha. He knew they needed to escape the suffocating grip of her father's empire. One night, as they met by the river, Caleb took Samantha's hands in his eyes reflecting the depth of his feelings. "We can leave, start anew somewhere far from here," he whispered, his voice trembling with urgency. But Samantha's face clouded with worry. "And what about my father? He will never let us go," she replied, tears brimming in her eyes. Caleb felt the weight of their reality crashing down on them. But just as he was about to suggest a plan, the distant sound of sirens shattered the moment, growing louder and more insistent. Panic surged through him as he realized they were coming for him. In that instant, he knew their love was about to be put to the ultimate test. As the flashing lights illuminated the darkness, he turned to Samantha, their hearts racing in synchronicity. "We have to run," he urged. But before they could move, a familiar voice called out to them from the shadows. Richard Harrington, flanked by his men. "Did you really think you could escape?" Richard's voice dripped with venom, and in that moment, Caleb understood the true cost of love. The confrontation that followed was nothing short of explosive, a clash of wills where love collided with power. As the tension reached its peak, Caleb and Samantha were faced with an impossible choice: to fight for their love against insurmountable odds, or to succumb to the forces that sought to tear them apart. The city around them felt alive with the echoes of their struggle, a backdrop to a love story that would either end in triumph or tragedy. As the sirens blared closer, Caleb and Samantha stood together, hearts intertwined, ready to face whatever came next. Would love conquer all, or would they be torn apart by the very forces that sought to keep them apart? The answer hung in the air, a question that would change their lives forever. True worth is not measured by wealth. Caleb learns that one's value comes from character and actions, not money or social status.